Is the mic on? Okay, let's get it to the side. Okay, center it. Try. Okay, just it's too close. Too close. It's too close. Back it up. And then yeah. Okay, that's better.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna roll.
Quick. Okay, go on. Nailed it. All right, hey, this is Tommy from Riot City Studios. Thanks for checking out this video. Today we are going to listen to the Lexicon PCM 42. I recently saw this thing listed on Marketplace for really cheap and decided to pick it up. And before I used the PCM 42, I thought it was just a delay. So I thought of that classic delay sound, maybe a slapback delay. Well, once I got it in the studio, hooked up, and started using it, I quickly realized it's much more versatile than that. It's a delay, it's a flanger, it's a doubler, it's a stereoizer, it's a creative effects processor. As a matter of fact, the user manual gives examples of all of these settings, and we're going to go through all of them today in this video. Everything from slapback delay to pitch twisting. Pitch twisting. Okay. This unit is legendary, so let's dive in and listen to how this thing actually sounds. All right, let's check it out. So yeah, when I first got this unit and turned it on, I really just wanted to make sure everything worked. So powered it on, started twisting the knobs, passing audio through it. It was interesting to me, I guess, that it starts out as 0. I'm gonna let you hear it at around 25 because I absolutely love this. And immediately realized I had something that I didn't quite understand until I got to use it, and that this was this delay was definitely more than meets the eye. The ear? I don't know. All right, check out what this does to vocals on this 25 millisecond setting here. It just kind of adds this like chorus effect that is just so cool. And I'll play with it here. So you'll see here, this is the amount I'm sending to Lexicon right up here. So when it's all the way down, it's not getting anything. And when it's up here, it's going to be passing audio to the Lexicon. So it's just adding to this vocal track that I have it on right now. So we'll start with it off.
Well, Mary, she raised up a boy, raised him right, and the angels, they trembled with envy. She got down on her knees and she prayed for her son. Damn them all, if it means we must take him. Her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same. Said I'd done all I could for that man. Oh, her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same. Said I forget, I've forgotten, I'm alright.
And you could see me kind of just adding and taking away through the mix. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually write this in. So I'll print this to the track. And this is how I like to use this effect. There have been a couple songs where I just sort of left it on low. It just gives it that depth to a vocal. But typically I'm going to be moving this in and out to give it that sort of effect, giving it that sort of contrast. But let's check this out some more.
Said I forget, I've forgotten, I'm alright. Well, 12 men they walk in the grace of God, and they worshipped and loved and obeyed him. It took one man alone for the jealousy of gold to give us our martyr and kingdom. His fate was changed, but the story remains. Well, he done all he could for that man. Oh, his fate was changed, and he was chosen to betray to this world. What a welcome to this world.
And I can kind of exaggerate it a little bit here in the video just to make it a little easier to hear, but you can use it as subtle as you want in a mix and it's almost unnoticeable, but just adds that little extra touch in the background. It's so nice. It's also great on backups where you can really drive it more. I'll leave it really low on the main so it's like almost inaudible. Let's play with it on the backup here.
But her heart stayed the same.
So you can hear it just kind of smear it there, which is really nice, especially for a backing vocal. It kind of smears it, smooths it out a little bit, makes it a little different.
Her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same. Said I'd done all I could for that man.
Yeah, like you almost don't hear it so much in the mix, but then if you solo it, it's like, whoa, there's this crazy chorus on it. Again, that's just kind of the first setting I came to. And you get variations of that anywhere from like 30 or so to 15, 20. And you get below that, you start to get into some other sort of resonate-y effects. In the user manual, they actually have a lot of different use cases for it. And we're just going to go through those because I figured that was a really good starting point. And they actually have these set up pretty well. Let's check these out. We're going to start with a slap echo, a slapback delay. This is classic. This is definitely one of the use cases I would use a lot for any delay. So we're of course going to start around 100. You know, we're going to go to anywhere around 100 for a slapback delay. Going back to legendary engineer Eddie Kramer recording Jimi Hendrix and running his vocal out through a tape machine setup that took about 100 milliseconds of latency to run out and back, and it created that sort of slapback delay. Is kind of known for that on tracks like Little Wing. And it's a really great effect, again, for just taking a plain vocal track and adding something to it, adding texture to it, making it a like rock star vocal sound instead of just someone singing into a mic on a take, you know. So we got this about 100, you know. I tend to like it a little under, but let's pull this up and get all these settings just right. So we want almost no feedback here because we really just want like one echo. It's just that one slapback. We don't want it to go on and on. We're doing a send, so we're going to keep that the same. And that's all good. So let's check this out. A little slapback delay on this vocal. Take it from the top here.
Well, Mary, she raised up a boy, raised him right. And the angels, they trembled with envy. She got down on her knees and she prayed for her son. Damn them all, if it means we must take him. Her faith was changed. Said I've forgotten, I'm alright.
And this song has a lot of like legato sort of vocal phrases, so you don't really get that slap back. It's not as effective on this as maybe a more like percussive vocal, but you can still hear it's like adding this nice delay to it that doesn't get in the way. But it brings a texture as much as it does like an ambience. It's sort of like a little bit of both.
Said I've forgotten, I'm alright. Well, 12 men they walked in the grace of God, and they worshipped and loved and obeyed Him. It took one man alone for the jealousy of God to give us our martyr and kingdom.
And then when you get those backups coming in, you even get this other layer that's happening. You can put slapback on those. We have it turned like way down right now, but then you just get these layers. You're making more out of what you have sort of with that slapback. Very, very cool. Once I learned about that effect, I started using that a lot. The PCM 42 obviously does a very good job with that. That's a solid slap echo. Let's move on to ambient. Ambient echo. So I just want a little higher, like a little higher reverb time there. So it's a little bit more ambient and way more feedback. Simulating echoes from a medium-sized hard room. So this is almost like a reverb. Let's check this out.
Well, he done all he could for that man. Oh, his fate was changed and he was chosen to betray. But we forget, we've forgotten, we're alright.
I'm going to take the reverb I have off of here.
Hey, we forget, we've forgotten, we're alright.
That's just the Lexicon. It's so great sounding.
Oh, his fate was changed and he was chosen to betray.
So that's sort of cranked. Let's take it down.
But we forget, we've forgotten, we're alright. Hey, we forget, we've forgotten, we're alright. What a welcome to this world.
And again, that's almost blurring the lines between reverb and delay.
Her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same. Said I'd done all I could for that man. Oh, her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same. Said I forget, I've forgotten, I'm alright.
Really nice there as well. Let's see what else we have here. Multi-echo. More obvious echoes and less ambient effect. Yeah, okay, cool. So this is more of an echo. This is more of a classic delay sound, I would say, but it has a short feedback. Yeah, let's check it out.
Said I forget, I've forgotten, I'm alright. Well, 12 men they walk in the grace of God, and they worshipped and loved and obeyed him. It took one man alone for the jealousy of gold to give us.
And with this one, I feel like we can play with the feedback a little bit too to get a lot of echoes.
Our martyr and kingdom. His fate was changed, but the story remains. Well, he done all he could for that man. Oh, his fate was changed, and he was chosen to betray.
Whenever I play with any of these settings, it's like the delay just sounds so good. I have a couple delay plugins that are like sort of my go-to delays, and I'm not going to name them, but I've never been quite happy with them. It's like, I feel like I'm always fighting the delay, like getting in the way or not quite sounding right. And with this PCM 42, I swear it's like every sound I dial up is just so pleasant. And it sort of stays out of the way, and it's so smooth. It's just got a sound to it. So I like this extra sort of echo delay on here too. Still pretty short delay time. You can obviously play with that. Like, this is a slower song, so I might turn that up. But let's go ahead and jump to long echo. Let's do like that. And then, yeah, let's keep... Increasing the feedback will increase the number of layers. So yeah, it's like starting you off with just a little bit of feedback. So just a little bit of layering, and then as you increase that, you can add layers to it. Let's check it out. Back on main vocals here.
Took one man alone for the jealousy will go to give us our martyr and kingdom. His fate was changed, but the story remains. Well, he done all he could for that man. Oh, his fate was changed, and he was chosen to betray. But we forget, we've forgotten, we're alright. Hey, we forget, we've forgotten, we're alright. What a welcome to this world. Oh, what a welcome to this world. What a welcome to this world.
So again, with this, you can keep it really subtle. This is kind of what I had in mind when I bought this unit, like the classic sort of long delay. Keep this low, and and of course, again, this is how I would typically use this. I would sort of automate the send up and down as needed, so it's a little more musical. Let's check out the next one we have here. We got double tracking. So this is like my original favorite here on 25 milliseconds. Sometimes it's hard to get it exactly on. It's got a really low feedback. I think I had a little bit higher when I was playing with it. Oh, and the waveform. So instead of just being completely VCO, it's got this sort of sine wave sweeping to it. Let's check this out.
Her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same. Said I'd done all I could for that man. Oh, her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same. Said I forget, I've forgotten, I'm alright. Said I forget, I've forgotten, I'm alright. Well, 12 men they walk.
So this is cool with the super short feedback. So it's as soon as you hear it, it's going to be gone. I love this on backup vocals as well and other instruments.
Oh, her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same.
Kind of makes it sound like it's in a room, like it has a little ambience to it. Let's check out flanging. Okay, so this is going to be a shorter one. And once you get to these really low numbers, you start to get some totally different effects. So this says, be most pronounced on sounds with rich harmonic content, complex chords. So this might be good on guitar, like this acoustic guitar. We'll have to play with it on that as well. Let's get these lined up. Turn the depth up. And rate really low. And we'll play with the depth on that, of course. Let's check it out on vocals first since we're here. Let's just do this backup vocal.
Faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same.
So it's that high backup. Let's solo that.
Oh, her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same.
Oof, look how slow that light is going too. It's so cool. You can get such a range of sounds. That's awesome. So it's very kind of subtle, mild kind of tempo there on the rate. Let's check this out again.
Oh, her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same.
So this is without.
Oh, her faith was changed. the same. Oh, her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same.
Oh, that's so cool for backup vocals. Let's hear it on the main vocal here, just out of curiosity.
Oh, her faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same.
Yeah, so it's like maybe not a effect I would use a ton on main vocal, but you can use this on a bunch of other instruments. Let's hear it on guitar, since they said it would be good on a rich harmonic instrument. We'll take it off the vocals.
One man alone for the jealousy will go to give us our martyr and kingdom. His fate was changed, but the story remains. Well, he done all he could for that man.
Yeah, I mean, that really is a classic flanger effect. Just out of curiosity, hang with me for 1 second while I put this on the drums, because every now and then I just love some flanger on drums. I always just thought it was such a cool effect on drum set. You hear it every now and then, even on modern records. You'll hear it on a drum fill or like an intro. Like if we go to this bridge even.
What a welcome to this world. Oh, what a welcome to this world. What a welcome to this world. What a welcome. Now
Like we'll put it on everything here. Let's go ahead and might as well add it to bass, right? Let's just put it on the bridge. So we'll start. This is going to be the total Lexicon sound that we're getting back. We're going to take it all the way out. Then as we enter the bridge of the song, I'm going to just give everything that flanger. Let's check that out.
hey, we forget, we forgotten, we're alright. What a welcome to this world. Oh, what a welcome to this world. What a welcome to this world. What a welcome. Now I thought I stumbled across the face.
And then back out. That's so cool. Can I hear it with a higher rate? Let's just see what happens here.
Hey, we forget, we forgotten, we're alright. What a welcome to this world. Oh, what a welcome to this world. What a welcome to this world. What a welcome. Now I thought
Yeah, it gets a little wacky when you start getting too fast on that. So the slow rate is really where it's at for that flanger. That's so cool. And I don't know if you noticed this as well. Check out the headroom on this, where I got everything going.
we're alright. Come to this world. What a world.
You can see it hitting red, and again with the PCM42 it just doesn't really matter that much like it does with a lot of other gear. Like most gear, when you see it hitting red, you need to dial that back and you need to fix your gain staging. Here it's like, yeah, you can hit red. As long as it's not egregious, it really doesn't ruin your sound. So cool. Let's check out resonance. So this is going to be kind of similar. Pipey single note resonance. So just main vocals.
Well, 12 men they walk in the grace of a God, and they worshipped and loved and obeyed him. It took one man alone for the jealousy of gold to give us our martyr and kingdom.
It is so interesting to me how like at 3 milliseconds, it's just the absolute classic flanger sound. You bump it up 1 millisecond and it really is a totally different sound. Of course, we don't have our depth on this one for our VCO sweep. So that plays a big role in there as well. But it's weird. I mean, I just press like 2 or 3 buttons and we have a completely different sound. This is kind of like a robot-y singing in the shower type effect.
Oh, the faith was changed.
You know, I'm kind of getting it loud right now. You could keep it subtle and maybe get some kind of weird, different texture out of it.
Oh, the faith was changed, but her heart stayed the same.
You know, just to differentiate verses and choruses maybe or something. That's kind of a weird effect. And then we have a step up from resonance is talking resonance. Varies with the signal level. So we're going to be doing depth on this one. Get our feedback kind of in the middle here. So this is going to be a talking resonance. So I assume it's going to kind of move with the music on this as it hits that voltage controlled oscillator is what that stands for. Let's check this out on vocal.
Said I forget, I've forgotten, I'm alright. Said I forget, I've forgotten, I'm alright.
So the way this works is, again, voltage controlled oscillator. So as the signal reaches higher on the input stage here, it's going to start playing with these settings on its own through that. And then when the signal goes quiet, it sort of resets back to its normal position. And it has this really musical quality about how they programmed this and set this up. So you can see the numbers start changing as the signal gets higher.
Well, 12 men they walk in the grace of a God, and they worshipped and loved and obeyed him. It took one man alone for the jealousy of gold to give us our martyr and kingdom. His fate was changed, but the story remains. Well, he done all he could for that man.
And you can kind of hear it change resonance with the words like that. It makes sense why it would be a talking resonance. It's like each new word gives it that little flutter of change in how it resonates, especially with percussive inputs, it says. So let's just try this on drums. I am a drummer, so I have to hear how this thing sounds on my drums.
They worshipped and loved.
Yeah, it's Kind of similar to like a flanger effect, but it's more controlled by the hits. All right, vibrato, let's check that out. So super short feedback, and we're doing it on the sine wave to start, and a fast rate. So it's just, so when you set it, not on the envelope up here, but just on one of these shapes, like the sine wave, if you can see that, or the square wave, then it's just doing it automatically. It's not based off of the input signal as much as it is just these shapes. So you can really get a ton of variations of sounds just off that one knob as well. Small regular variations in pitch. So also I'm realizing this is gonna be better as an insert. Let's check this out as an insert.
What a welcome to this world. Oh, what a welcome to this world. What a welcome to this world. What a welcome.
Yeah, I mean, that does give it a vibrato. Not entirely sure when I would use that, but interesting to hear nonetheless. Okay, that brings us to pitch twisting, our favorite. That classic effect that we all have come to love and know on all those hit records. Okay, I actually haven't heard this yet, so I should probably withhold my judgment until I actually hear it. Let's go. 400. Everything out. Pitch twisted up to about there. We're going full depth. Okay, look at the numbers go. All right, we'll slow it down some. And this is full mix here, so this is going to be more of an insert than a send. So here we go. This is wild looking already. Let's do it on vocals. Let's see what the pitch twisting does. So this is, right now, this is going to be only the return that we hear. So this is going to be no dry signal, all wet. Let's just solo the vocals and see what it does here.
What a welcome to this world. Oh, what a welcome to this world. What a...
I mean, yeah, okay, it does twist the pitch. Yeah, okay. Kind of just want to put it on the whole mix. Get the vocal dry back in there. And so this will be everything kind of on top of the dry signal.
Welcome to this world. What a welcome. Now I thought I stumbled across the face of my God, and I asked if he knew me passing vaguely, 'cause I kept...
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of out of ideas there. You can get really creative with it. I'll give it that. That's so funny. Let's read about this. Radically altered swept pitches completely transform any instrument into something totally alien. For less extreme effect, turn the depth down. Well, yeah, okay. And the pitch occurs that is proportional to the rate of change in delay time. Yeah, so that's basically what it's doing. And that's what's so cool about this whole VCO sweep of this unit. Even though this is like a real extreme sort of weird example of it, when you put it on smaller depth, and you can have it sort of on this automated change or voltage controlled here, and you have this little bit of depth, and you put it on sort of a subtle send effect, then again, it just, that's like an so what we just heard with pitch shifting is an exaggerated effect of what that can do. Take that down to like 2%, and it just shifts everything a little bit while it's delaying it, and it's actually kind of cool. I feel like this is included in as an example just to show you sort of the extremes of what it's doing. Basically, the last two that are left are kind of like the longest ones you can set. So we have Canon. Let's go get to 1200. Our feedback's about the same. Begins to make use of the multi-layering potential of the PCM42. Yeah. Let's check this out. So this is, again, this is very, very classic. I'm going to bring this back up, and we're going to go back just to vocals. All right, so we're just on vocals here. We're going to have this long delay effect. Let's check it out. So right there was actually just a great example of that sort of long delay effect. Let's just check it out soloed so we can hear how it actually sounds.
Oh, what a welcome to this world. What a welcome to this.
Yeah, and again, this is a classic delay. You know, I feel like I could get this same sound with a plugin. You all watching this video might say, yeah, I can just get that sound with a plugin. Yeah, I think so, honestly. You know, some of the sounds we get from this unit are a little bit more creative or a little bit more distinct. That one is just a very classic long delay sound. So, of course, this can do that very well. And again, just like everything else, it just sounds really smooth. It sounds really nice, and you have plenty of headroom to work with on that. Let's check out the longer version. What we're going to do is just hit the double. So it doubles our time there. More extended with many layers. Kind of just start with this setting so it has feedback all the way up. So this is like maxed out. Basically, this is your max setting. I'll start low, and this will be our amount that I'm sending.
What a welcome to this world. Oh, what a welcome to this world. What a welcome to this world. What a welcome. Now I thought I stumbled across the face of my God, and I asked if he knew me, passing vaguely, 'cause I carried that cross like a dead albatross, and I cried 'cause my hands were so dirty.
And it's still going.
My face.
You can just see it feeding back into the input still as it fades out. So cool. It really goes and goes and goes. And I feel like with plugins, you can set super extremely long times, but I feel like they're more prone to sort of going too long or bugging out or feeding back on you, where this is just this beautiful, crazy long delay. Let's put it right on the end of the song. Let's check this out. This would be a great way to end a track.
Faith was changed, but my heart stayed the same. Said I'd done all I could for that man. Oh, my faith
And that's how you end a record right there. It's a really cool effect. So yeah, that's the idea. That's all of the examples that we have here other than the stereo image. So let's dive into that. Okay, cool. So I have this session pulled up with heavy guitars, and it's just a heavy mix in general. This is a punk rock band from West Virginia called Rockwell's Ghost, an extremely awesome and talented band with just a vicious, like, hardcore sound to them. So I wanted to run the guitars specifically through the PCM 42 and see how we can thicken up the guitar sound a little bit with this unit. So what I did is I went ahead and ran it through this left side guitar track, ran it through and printed it here in this purple track. And then for the right side guitar track, I ran that through and printed it here. The way I have it right now is I've actually panned the left side guitar Lexicon over to the right. So that's like, it's giving it a stereo image. The rhythm guitar that's panned to the right has a Lexicon run through that's panned all the way to the left. So right now the Lexicon tracks are muted. I'm going to play a little bit of this mix and let you all hear what we're working with. So this is no Lexicon right now. Okay, so that's what we're working with there. All right, check it out. I'm going to fade in the Lexicon. And so what I did here is I kept the delay set really low so that it's not like a long delay. I also kept the feedback dialed back. So it's almost like that doubling effect, around like 25 milliseconds or so, maybe a little less on this. And it's kind of just that doubler so that we can increase the stereo spread and just thicken the guitar sound. So let's check this out. I'm going to dial these up when they're both selected like this. I'm going to dial them both up together at the same time. So let's see if we can hear that. So really cool effect there that it is making the signal louder. So that's one thing we always have to be aware of when we're doing comparisons like this. The louder one's typically going to sound better. But you can just hear how it widens it, it thickens it, and it just gives it this other layer. So it's not just the direct sort of mic guitar sound. It's just got a little extra something to it. The thing with the PCM 42 that I have been learning about is it always sounds so smooth. So whether you have like these like super distorted guitars or like a really clean vocal, what it puts out is going to sound really smooth to me. So it works for either case. let's solo the guitars and hear what it's really doing here. So I'm going to dial the PCM tracks all the way down, and let's solo guitars and check it out. So let's just check out the Lexicon tracks themselves. So again, we're basically just doubling the tracks here, but the tiny bit of VCO sweep that I had on the PCM42 just gives it that slight extra effect to it. And the way it's naturally being delayed, so I don't, we could manually double the tracks and offset them by 20 milliseconds or whatever, but it's a lot more fun to just dial it up on the PCM and just let it do its thing, and you can listen as you kind of dial through the delay. So this is just kind of where I ended up when I was playing with it the other day, twisting the knobs, deciding this sounded pretty good, and went ahead and printed both tracks. All in all, it's really, really cool. I love what this thing does to the mix. Totally just beast mode on this heavy guitar mix here. So yeah, that's the PCM 42 by Lexicon for you. Those are just the settings I've tried and kind of run through. And as I've been learning about this unit myself, I think there is magic in some hardware and in some of this audio gear, and the same for instruments. Some of this gear just has magic in it, and other gear is okay. Kidding. Some gear you just put your hands on it and it's like, there's something special there. The couple times I went to NAMM, I was that nerd just walking around wanting to twist the knobs on all the gear. A lot of people are there for networking, getting their product or business out there. I just want to hear all the cool new stuff. I find that some gear, I just start twisting the knobs on it and it's like exactly what I want to happen is happening. And sometimes it's like even better than what I think. You have these expectations in your head of what's going to happen when you turn this dial. My favorite gear, and I think anyone's favorite gear, is going to do that thing that you're thinking in your head, or do something even better and surprise you. Some gear is just like, you have to fight with it to try to get what you're hearing in your head. The PCM42 has like totally blown me out of the water. This isn't even a advertisement for the PCM42. I mean, I'm not getting paid by them to do this. It's just, this is like an honest gear review. I just wasn't really expecting what this thing can do and the sounds that it can put out. I thought this was a delay, not realizing what all a delay could be, or at least what all this thing can be. So that's that. Thanks a lot for checking out the video. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on as much gear as I can get my hands on, to just do reviews on it and to just let you hear it. That's the main point of this channel, is to actually let you hear the gear that you're interested in, that I'm interested in, to put it out there and just let everyone hear how this stuff actually sounds, sort of get my take on it, but let you create your own opinion as well. So thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you on the next one.